Gotcha.
Oh, baby!
Yeah, I got both of you.
Triple!
Stopped all three of them. What's up, guys? My name is Kale, and today on the King Games, we're going to be talking about this. This is the X-Shot Pro Longshot. There's a ton of hype surrounding it. We're going to cut through the BS and see if the hype is worth it. Let's get into it. There's probably a ton of reviews out by the point that this video comes out, but I wanted to offer a different perspective as someone who plays at a pro level at competitive tournaments around the country, and see if I am any more harsh on this blaster than some of the other reviewers have been. So let's get some first impressions, starting off by what comes in the box. First and foremost, you have the blaster itself, which comes with a full length of Picatinny, sling attachment points here, here, and on the grip here. It also has an attached angled foregrip, which is very reminiscent of the worker angled foregrip. An exposed plunger tube, a ambidextrous mag release, as well as a safety that is ambidextrous. It also has a flat trigger, and as you might have already noticed, the mag well is in the back, which makes it a bullpup. It also comes with a set of iron sights. The rear iron sight is not adjustable. The front sight, however, is, with a simple height adjustment that you can dial up or down in the front. In the package, this blaster also comes with a muzzle attachment, which, if you didn't know, actually separates into two separate pieces. This is a scar barrel, which has rifling, and I'm not sure if you can see it, and then a secondary piece which appears to be just for cosmetics. It also comes with one 15-round full-length mag, as well as a half-dart adapter, and a 15-round half-dart mag. That's right, it's both half-dart and full-length compatible. It also comes with 20 of these full-length X-Shot Pro darts, and 20 of these half-length X-Shot Pro darts. This is the first time that X-Shot has stepped into the pro blaster market, and I gotta say, it's about time. The only major company left out now is the mothership, Nerf themselves. Some first things that I notice about the print quality and the ergonomics. The print quality is actually pretty sick. There's so much detail hidden everywhere in here. It also says Orion here, and it makes me think that this might possibly be a hats off or nod to a reference to Orion blasters, being that they make the only real bullpup springers in the market currently, at least up until this point. A few community members locally brought up how it actually reminds them of the Taurus, which is actually an older blaster from Orion, and something I never got my hands on. Looking at pictures though, I can definitely see it. As for the blaster itself, it's pretty solid. I actually expected it to be a little more flimsy because Zuru generally uses thinner plastics, and I'm absolutely sure that they've done that here because the blaster itself weighs like nothing, which is pretty cool actually. One area that I do notice a little flexing is here in the prime sled. I don't think it's the grip itself because the whole grip moves with this. We'll see how it stands up to our testing. As X-Shot's first entry into the pro category, they've decided to opt for a brand new mag. Luckily for us, this blaster is Talon compatible, and there is a really cool feature that I want to talk about. This lever right here is meant to either release a full-length magazine, or if you have the half-dart adapter in, to access the adapter itself or remove it. But if you're using the adapter during gameplay, what you want to hit is this paddle on the mag adapter to remove the magazine. However, there is another method of doing so right here, which, like I mentioned earlier, is ambidextrous. But what's really cool about this particular switch is when you press it, you get a really nice gravity drop, which works with its own magazines, Talon magazines, Dart Zone Pro magazines, Tryon magazines, Tamagotchi magazines, and somewhat with Coda mags, but I'll talk about that in a second. So that gravity drop is actually facilitated by a second switch right here. So the button that's actually on the grip hits this little mechanism right here, which is linked to the paddle, but does operate basically independently. You don't need to hit this in order to activate that, which is super cool. Now, although I said it works with CODIS, it doesn't exactly work with CODIS because you can actually pull it out and it sometimes doesn't sit all the way in. Is that a bummer? Sure, but it's actually really easily fixable if you just run a Dart Zone Pro magazine adapter instead. What? No modifications needed. However, when you use a Pro magazine from Dart Zone, because it doesn't have that extra little button, you cannot use the gravity drop. You have to use the paddle. Bruh. Honestly, I'm just surprised it takes all of those magazines. And that's not even the full-length magazines. Now, of course, it takes its own full-length magazines. That being said, because there's no adapter, there is no mechanism in the mags to be dropped or be compatible with this mechanism right here. This is exclusive to the half-length adapter. It did work with every mag that I tried. Even this heckin' chunker. Though I'd advise against it because it's not very comfortable. Hey guys, it's Future Kale here, and I realized I forgot something important when it comes to magazine compatibility. Although the Longshot does take Nerf full-length magazines, the full-length magazine that the Longshot comes with does not actually work with Nerf branded blasters. It simply doesn't catch. Like, it fits in there, but it just doesn't catch. Anyways. It also has an adjustable stock with a button right here for adjustability, and there are 3 positions, giving you maybe about 1.5 inches of adjustability. For reference, I'm 6 feet tall, and I actually prefer it to be completely collapsed, but I do tend to choke up on my blasters a bit. Another cool and hidden feature is the breech window. Now, yes, you can see a magazine and how many darts are in there without doing anything, but there's actually a hidden unjamming door right here inside that gives you a ton of access and even allows you to load a dart right from the back. This is one of those things that I just can't believe that none of the other reviewers are talking about. Like, this is super cool and super well hidden. I'm sure some of these people don't even realize it's actually there, while others probably just don't find it important. But if you know me, if you've seen my previous reviews, especially the try-on one, you know how much I love a big breech window. Like, dang, that's a lot of access.
What did he say?
Another interesting thing that I've noticed is it has this kind of ratcheting feature. If you pull back a little bit, it stays at that prime level and you can't go forward. It's locked here. A little more and it locks the next level. And all the way back until it's fully primed, which is very interesting, and I'm not sure I've seen another blaster with that. It also does have slam fire, so keep an eye out for that, which of course is a feature to most, but something that I don't personally like. I like the option that it's there for players who do like to use it, but it just doesn't lend towards my play style. As for the ratcheting, I think it's actually a mechanism to allow for younger players who are not as strong to be able to prime this and not waste a ton of effort priming part of the way and then having to start over because they couldn't get it to catch. Another cool feature that I've noticed by looking at the plunger tube is that there's actually like a dampening spring here. Now, this blaster is a Target exclusive, so if you want to get it, you're gonna have to get it there. I personally didn't find it on the shelf. I had to ask about it using the DCPI number, which is basically just a number that Target employees use to find items. I also have the barcode. I'm going to put both of them on the screen for you guys. You can check your local Target, and you can also have the employee check any ones in their region. Speaking of buying this thing, the retail price on this, it turns out, is only $29.99, so $30. Now it's time to put it through its paces, starting off with an FPS test. So as you can see, this blaster with its included ammo shoots at a low of 87 and a high of 132. Now testing with Worker Gen 3 darts, we got a low of 123 and a high of 151. Now with the included full-length darts, we had a low of 118 and a high of 136. With the X-Shot Scar and its included half-length darts, we got a low of 83 and a high of 127. With the Worker Gen 3s, we got a high of 143 and a low at 127. With the Worker Scar and the included X-Shot Pro ammo, we've got a low of 81 and a high of 97. However, when we use that same worker scar and we switch to the worker Gen 3s, we've got a low of 89 and a high of 137. Now, the next thing we're going to test is accuracy, but before we do, I want to talk a little bit about these attachments and why we're using them. We're testing the included one because it's included.
Bruh.
What you'll notice is that the actual rifling in the scar is so minimal that it actually doesn't make contact with the dart at all. They can drop right through. Now, if you remove this muzzle, you can actually friction fit a couple different muzzles in here, including the worker scar. This is the same scar that comes with the worker Harrier and the worker Swift, so if you already have those blasters, then no need to purchase. But lucky for us, this actually just became available on Amazon recently, so I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in getting this one. I actually think that the X-Shot one is a copy and design of this one that's just been poorly executed. And I know that they copied it because if you look at it, the twist angles are pretty much the same at it. On one side, there's the twist, but if you flip to the other side, this collet right here is designed to slip onto an exposed metal barrel. But this blaster doesn't have an exposed metal barrel, and yet it still has this little sleeve here to fit on top of barrels. It's also not the right tolerance to do so, which is really unfortunate. Now, for the blasters it was designed for, this is actually the outer edge that would be in the front. And it has these lines that impart twists on the dart to make it fly straighter. So for these blasters, you actually flip it the other way around and insert it because of the outer diameter. Now, you could insert it with the other end, however, there'd be all this dead space before the dart hits the twist, and that's not really a good thing. You want it to hit the twist as soon as it's leaving the barrel. Alright, great. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go test the accuracy. When it comes to using the included scar barrel and the included short darts, well, it was pretty unimpressive. Only 2 out of the 5 shots fired actually hit the target. When we switched over to the worker scar and the included half darts, it was pretty much the same results. 2 out of 5 shots hit the target. When we switched the darts out for the worker HEs, but we used the Longshot's included scar barrel, we got great results, 5 out of 5. And when we combined the worker scar with the worker darts in this blaster, we got an again 5 out of 5, which goes to show that the darts that we chose mattered a lot more than the rifling attachment. Now, when we used the included scar barrel and full-length darts that it came with, it actually fired pretty surprisingly well, 3 out of 5 shots. I wasn't expecting it to go as well as it did. When we used the same included full length with the worker scar, however, it seemed to be shooting visibly straighter, but it just couldn't seem to get enough power to make it into the target when shooting straight. If I wanted to force myself to make it, I would have had to shoot with an arc. So what do I really think about the X-Shot Pro Longshot? Well, for starters, there's a lot of problems with the accessories. You'll see that there's actually too much room inside of the mag itself, inside the walls. It's really prone to squishing or pinching them in opposite directions. If it weren't for that issue, I wouldn't really have any problem with the mags, and they work in other blasters as well. So, you know, it's one of those things where I really wish they had done a little bit better of a job with tolerances here. Now, when it comes to the mag adapter, as you can see, it's fairly similar in concept to the Dart Zone Pro mags, but it just feels all around cheaper. And the paddle is absolute mush, in stark contrast to how good this paddle feels. I'll mess with upgrading the springs in here because that's what I think it actually might be. The mechanism itself is really cool though, and so I hope that with some minor modding this will be improved. And I could definitely get over the plastic quality in order to keep that gravity drop feature that I mentioned earlier. This attachment is compatible with Dart Zone muzzles, but that's a two-way street. You can throw the muzzle from the Max Striker in there, which is pretty cool, or you can throw in something like this from the Aeon Pro or the Nexus, and either way you'll be able to fire rival rounds or mega rounds. Speaking of muzzle attachments, you can actually run the worker scar with this muzzle, which is a really cool aesthetic, but also a more functional one. These just slide off like they're nothing. and I almost lost the front one during gameplay. Another problem I have is with the darts themselves. The color scheme seems to be pretty obviously inspired by the Dart Zone Max line, but they just don't perform well. I do have to say that this is with a stock barrel, so maybe if I were to try this in another blaster, like an actual hobby grade blaster, it might be good. But ironically enough, in the blaster that it came with, these darts are trash. Despite the things that I've had to say that I don't like about it, there is so much to like about this blaster. For their first offering in this category, X-Shot has managed to do a ton of things right, and just a few things wrong. If you saw something like the Nexus Pro, the Tryon, or the Dart Zone Pro 1, 1.1 or 1.2 and thought, man, I wish I had those capabilities but in a bullpup format, this is the blaster for you. And from anywhere from half to a third of the cost. $30 is insane for all this blaster offers. And although I do have complaints about it, at this price point, those complaints are washed away. I can already tell from the fact that there are some mods available for the blaster already that this blaster is going to receive a lot of love from the aftermarket community. I know I forgot to mention this earlier, but there is also Picatinny rail under here, which means if you prefer the pump grip of something like a Max Striker, you will be able to switch that out. With all the customizability and options and cross compatibility that already exists for this blaster, I can't help but recommend. In my opinion, this is going to breathe new life into the entry-level pro category. If you had asked me 6 months ago to start a brand new loadout for competitive on a budget, it would have included the Tryon. But if you ask me that same question today, I think I'd choose this. Now, before you go out and buy one of these, there's something you should be very, very careful of, and that is that you check the plunger tube in the store before you buy it. Even in the packaging, if you stick your hand back behind here, grab both sides of the plunger tube and twist, it will feel stiff at first, but the plunger tube can rotate inside the blaster. And when you do, you should rotate it to see if there are any cracks. When I picked up mine and a few extras for the members of my club, I did in fact find one that was cracked. And I'm apparently not the only one. Since I've personally put over 1,000 rounds through this blaster without any signs of damage, I'm not so sure that this is a performance-based issue, and more that it might be a shipping/packaging bad combination issue. Because most of the people that I have seen with this issue have had that cracked plunger tube since they bought it. If you guys do have these issues, I'd love to hear about it. And if I am wrong and my theory is wrong, let me know. In a future video, when we go to mod this, it very well may crack, and I'll be looking into some of the solutions for that. But right now, at its stock configuration, it's performing like a champ. If you like the kind of content that I'm putting out, make sure to mag dump that like button, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see the next videos that we're planning. I'll let you on a little secret. The mod guide for this blaster is going to be coming out soon, and when it does come out, we're going to be announcing a giveaway. So stay tuned for that. Either way, that's all I have for you today, and let me know what you think of this blaster. Do you have one in your hands already? Are you excited to get it? I'd love to hear what you guys think. Well, until next time on the King of Games, have a blast. Gotcha. Woo, yippee-ki-yay. Go. We got two. Got him. We got him right here. Oh, gotcha. Got him. Oh, sorry. Oh, you're on our team. Haha.